Good morning from Toronto, Kristin. How are you today?
Mm. Very well, thank you.
Where
Very
this lovely film had its debut premiere here at the Toronto International Film Festival. I know that you've been here before with movies that you've been in, but what was it like to present a film that you directed here?
well. Unfortunately, I couldn't present it because there was a big strike, if you remember, and
Correct.
I had to stay locked in my hotel room.
That sucks.
Deeply frustrating.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
usually,
I forgot. Yeah.
I do love coming to the Toronto Film Festival. It's a really fun time.
Well, you know what? You'll have to just direct another film and then bring it here. So promise
Yes,
me that, okay? All
yeah,
right. Well,
promise.
congratulations on this. Boy, this one really struck me. It hit home for me in a lot of ways. And I know for you, obviously, very personal film. You wrote it with your husband, I might add. Why was this the right time, though, to decide for you to say, you know what? I'm going to get behind the camera.
I've been wanting to do it for a while and never really found the right project. And yeah, I mean, it was because I felt that it was time to claim my story, because it was a story that it is a story, this sort of tragic childhood element of my biography has been used many, many, many times in profiles.
Yeah.
And I just felt it was time to claim it as mine and to explore relationships in families, to explore grief in families, to see to have a look at what it's like to be a mother who is in love, and all these sort of complicated issues that us women have to deal with all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this all started when you were a young girl. You did drawings, and you were a storyteller from being a young
It's
girl. But
it's
the
it's
the
true.
drawings are beautiful because I love the way that you implemented the memories in
Yeah.
this film as these drawings. Can you talk a little bit about that? It's beautiful.
Well, they're made by an Iranian called Reza Riai, who's a very, very talented animator. And I'd seen his work before, and I'd wanted to capture elements of my memory so that I would be able to share that with my siblings, because I have lots of siblings, and none of them have memories of my father, or they have fewer memories because I was the eldest, because I was almost 6 when he was killed, and then I was 11 when my stepfather was killed. And I wanted to kind of preserve that, so to give them something to hang their hats on, if you see what I mean. And then from there, that became an idea for a movie, an invented story about these 3 women who are wrestling with their romantic disarray and slightly out, with their noses slightly out of joint because their mother is so deliriously happy.
How dare she?
How dare she? And she's chosen a man who they're not quite sure about, who they feel is a disappointment, is a letdown after these heroic men that they consider their fathers to be, these incredible sort of godlike creatures. But of course they were, because he was, because they were so little when he was taken away from them.
Yeah, exactly. And what's so fascinating to me, Kristen, is that everybody has a different memory of things,
Mm.
of a situation. When you look back at something like me and my brother and my sisters, we might have experienced something together, but we all look at it in a different way.
Yes,
So I
yes,
find with this, memories are so specific. And we
yeah,
see this through Scarlett Johansson, who obviously is close to playing who you are in real life, growing up. But her memory of the dad, what I find there's no face. There's no
yes,
face really,
until
right?
the
Can you
end.
talk a little
Yeah.
bit about that?
Well, because I think that, as you say, memory is different for everybody, and memory is always it's not quite the real thing. So you're always grasping for something. So you're always grasping, you're trying to find the lost element, and the lost element is obviously the life. And I felt that was, it's visible when you don't see the eyes. There's something missing. So you're looking for it. So you're constantly looking for that, um, for the life in the face, and we don't see that
Yeah, we
until the
don't.
end.
It's very interesting. I just was so captivated by that. The three lovely actresses that play your daughters. I mean, honestly, I don't think you could have cast anyone better than these three women. But let's start with Scarlett Johansson because she's not British. However, this is the third time that she's played your daughter on screen. So
Yes.
clearly, you could probably almost adopt her in real life. What was it like to have her play Catherine? She was wonderful in this role, really.
She is wonderful. She's a wonderful, wonderful actress. She can turn on a sixpence, as we say in English, but she really is so talented and so dedicated and such a team player. That's what really I was so admirative of her because she turned up, it's a little film, she turned up and she was right in there with everyone and she created such a great atmosphere around the three women in the story, these three young women became so close. It was really lovely to watch, actually. But Scarlett is somebody I've known since she was a little girl because we did The Horse Whisperer together. I played her mother in that, and then later we did a film called The Other Boleyn Girl, where she was also my daughter. And so I've sort of seen her, in her teens, in her 20s, and now
Yeah.
and then in her late 30s, and it was just such a joy and such a sort of privilege to have her trust as well, because I mean, she's been around the block a couple of times. She knows what's what. And the fact that she trusted me with this project was just great.
Yeah, I got to say, she wears that Navy uniform really well.
I noticed she looked amazing in it. I want one
Re
like that.
Honestly, this should be a new trend in women's wear. Like she looked,
Yes,
with the hat, the whole thing, she
I
looked
know.
fabulous.
I know.
Yeah, I gotta ask you too, after doing this whole process, the writing, the directing, everything that you've gone through to present this to us, was it a cathartic experience? Did you feel any different after it was all over and now that the world is going to see this too?
Um, yeah, I don't know if you mean cathartic in a personal way. No,
Well, yeah, both,
because these are
like
all things that I've been dealing with for a very long time, and I'm
sure.
an actress, and one of the things that I became successful at and was employed for was to play these characters who had a slight sort of mysterious sadness to them that would then be revealed. And I think I've been carrying that for a very long time. So it wasn't cathartic in that sense. It was a huge challenge to have all these things and a much steeper learning curve than I'd anticipated because being on set for me is second nature. I love it. I'm at my happiest on a film set. And then there was editing. And the editing was where I really learned so much. I mean, I sort of wish I could have done it the other way around. I've been an editor and then, anyway, it really was an extraordinary, extraordinary learning curve that I enjoyed tremendously with moments of huge doubt and terror and others of great, joy and satisfaction and pleasure at seeing other people and seeing how audience respond to it. It's great.
Yeah, and having worked for so many years and having had the opportunity to work with some pretty darn fine directors, my dear, over the years, my goodness, when you look at it and think, was there a style of any of the directors that you worked with that maybe kind of influenced your own directing style?
I don't think so because, yeah, I don't think so. I think these things sort of sink in without you really noticing. But I certainly think that I was possibly more influenced by my French cinema experience than others because it is a very we're talking about a family. It's a very kind of intimate subject. These little tiny details in children's lives that then become huge, great weights in when they become an adult. The sort of secrets that they carry around and things. So yeah, I mean, I think perhaps I was more influenced by my French language films than any of the really great directors that I've worked with.
Okay, but I'm sure they rubbed off on you because boy, have you ever had what a career, beautiful career. Thank you for everything
Amazing.
that you.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, you
So
are one
lucky.
of my so lucky. You deserve it. You're amazing talent. You're fantastic. And I have to say, just before I wrap, I am so looking forward to season 5 of Slow Horses. My goodness, deputy director of MI5. Very cool, my dear. Very cool.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time. This film
Really
is so
nice talking to
lovely,
you.
and I really appreciate it. Have a lovely day. Thank you.